We just completed our transformation challenge at Orangetheory. So that's an 8-week program where we challenge people to up their routine and go faster. And then we do 3 body scans during that program at the start, in the middle, and at the end. And we're just now tallying that data. But I can tell you, we'll be able to report out on the thousands and thousands of pounds that we helped our members take off and the thousands and thousands of pounds of muscle that we helped them build during this challenge. The ability to tie technology into this experience is exciting and rewarding on its own.
Welcome back to the Fitt Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Veneri. Today I'm joined by Tom Leverton, CEO of Purpose Brands. In this episode, we discuss the recent merger of Self Esteem Brands and Orangetheory Fitness, creating a health and wellness platform with more than 6 million members. We also talk about enhancing the member experience with new technology and services, Orangetheory's global growth strategy, and the future of fitness supergroups. Let's get into it. The Fitt Insider Podcast is presented by EGYM. EGYM's smart fitness ecosystem is transforming healthcare through exercise, combining strength equipment with AI-powered software and corporate wellness platform WellPass. It's leading the shift to proactive, preventative health. Learn more about EGYM's intelligent workout solutions at egym.com. Hi, Tom. Welcome to Fitt Insider. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Excited to chat today. A lot going on with Purpose Brands. Obviously, a huge merger that gave us the company, but also brought you into the mix. So maybe can you just set the stage, talk about how Purpose Brands came to be, and then where you got involved?
Sure. So Purpose Brands came together through the merger of 2 really powerful companies. That's Self Esteem Brands, which owns Anytime Fitness, Bar Method, Basecamp Fitness, Stronger You, Waxing the City, and some other brands. They merged with Orangetheory back in April of 2024. The founders are elevating to the board, and they did a search for a new CEO. And I was lucky enough to get that opportunity, and I joined the business on November 11th.
And so maybe just talk about your experience, what interested you even in this role as the search came about, and then how you're thinking about, really stepping into it and advancing the company into its next stages.
Sure. So my career has not been in health and wellness, but my travels have led me, generally speaking, into multi-site service businesses. So I've worked for businesses like Kinko's back in the past, doing business services, Air Medical, providing medical transport services, including direct healthcare to people, and then food and entertainment for businesses like Topgolf and Chuck E. Cheese, which everybody knows. So again, multi-site businesses, including things where we had to go through mergers, where we did accelerated growth. So a lot of very relevant things for what Purpose Brands is facing. As far as why I was interested in joining the business, I'll tell you there's 3 opportunities in my past, jobs in my past, that have been the most rewarding. I actually started off as a mechanical engineer doing medical devices. And I know that is definitely not applicable to this job, but I will tell you that, as a 22-year-old engineer, you could, if you did your job well, directly contribute to saving somebody's life. Later on, when I was CEO of that Air Medical business, again, if I did my job well as CEO through better helicopter uptime or training flight nurses better, I could contribute to saving somebody's life. And then at Chuck E. Cheese, even though that's a kind of happy, maybe arguably ridiculous industry, the purpose there is to make kids happy. And that's an exciting reason to come to work every day. Purpose Brands, we save people's lives just as much as those other 2 companies that I mentioned. And the lives we don't save, we make better. We touch over 6 million members every single year. And that is a tremendous opportunity and even responsibility. And that just made it too exciting and too rewarding to potentially even pass up. That got me to investigate the business. And then I just loved everything I learned. Culture, the founders, the opportunity for growth. It's just a very exciting business and industry.
Yeah, a lot of potential. And you mentioned a huge platform, both in terms of the number of locations, the number of members. Obviously, when you look at something like that, and then you have, as you mentioned, the founders involved kind of stepping into that, the chair position. What are some of the kind of opportunities and challenges that you just naturally encounter, both, taking over an executive role in any company, but also then as 2 platforms are kind of coming together?
Well, I am particularly blessed because the founders both built businesses that were very strong with fantastic cultures. The cultures are a little bit different, but they're very similar in that people are passionate about the cause. We support our franchisees so they can deliver the best health and wellness services to the members possible. And when you have people that are driven by that purpose, it makes things a lot easier because it's not just a job, it's a calling. And both businesses, Self Esteem Brands and Orangetheory, had that same kind of culture. Now there are differences. So to your question, as I think about the integration, I need to protect and enhance that culture. That's kind of job number one. Protect what the founders have built. But then as I go forward, I think about the integration side, and I'll use a good example maybe on the technology side. We have 5 consumer facing brands with 5 different technology platforms. We're going to be building, in fact, we're in the process of building right now, one powerful, common, modern technology platform that can support all of the different brands. And that's going to give our franchisees new capabilities for how they reach out to members, how they manage the members, they do their marketing, they do their reporting, they do their member management. All of that capability comes from building a leveraged scale platform that couldn't be done without this kind of an integration. So I need to protect and enhance what we're doing from a people side, and then find every opportunity possible to leverage the fact that we are the largest health and wellness platform in the world.
Yeah, you talked about some of the things there, just, obviously from like the tech, operational efficiency, and then you have things like maybe multi-studio memberships, co-locating different concepts in a similar area or maybe under one roof. Do the synergies extend that far? And if they do, how do you think about that timeline in terms of like when it might be relevant both internally and people might notice it externally?
Well, I'm a believer that the franchisees and the members get to decide what works and what doesn't, because we'll put things into test. And if the franchisees and the members find value, the tests will be successful. So we will test co located studios and clubs. We will test common, buy an Orangetheory membership, get anytime fitness membership with it. We will test all of those opportunities over the course of this year and next year. And then that will provide a great roadmap as we look forward to later in 2026 and 2027 to roll out those scaled opportunities.
Balancing, like, not reinventing the wheel, basically. It's like there are proven kind of concepts. You have the expansion, you have the locations globally. Obviously, these things are working, but then where are the opportunities for white space? Where do you have to accelerate things? You mentioned, testing things and letting the kind of franchisees decide. How do you balance that? Just like with not pushing and not kind of like overreaching, but also making sure that it continues to improve and evolve.
I think there's kind of 2 parts to that question. I'll do the second part first. From a franchisee standpoint, if we can prove that it makes their business better, franchisees, we're fortunate. We have great franchisees across all 5 of our brands, and they want to succeed. If we help them succeed, that's paying for their kids to go to college and for their mortgage. And they're rational beings who want to reach out and make a bigger difference in the world, which makes their business more successful. And so, as long as we can communicate really clearly about what initiatives we're trying, why we're trying them, and the ones that work, the benefit to the franchisee, we're going to be aligned. I'm not concerned about that at all. To the first part of the question about what those opportunities are, we can pursue several things all at once. The way that I look at the opportunities is we have a lot of opportunities still physically on white space, new locations. Anytime Fitness, even with the thousands and thousands of locations that we have, there are still cities domestically that don't have an Anytime Fitness. And then internationally, there are regions to do much better job of penetrating. For Orangetheory, we're very strong domestically, but we don't have that many sites internationally. And I can tell you, kind of to your point on integration, we have a lot of our Anytime Fitness franchisees internationally that are interested in Orangetheory. Again, it's such a powerful brand overall. So we have white space opportunity. We also have service opportunity. Anytime Fitness is testing right now a lot of recovery opportunities. We have red lights in some of our locations. We have ties with physical therapy in other locations. So we can roll out new products and services at Anytime Fitness and our other brands. And then lastly, I would hit the opportunity for things that are brand new to just enhance the wellness opportunity for our members. We have a partnership through Anytime Fitness with Apple, where you can get Apple Fitness Plus as part of your Anytime Fitness membership to enhance the service. For Orangetheory, we have our new heart rate monitor coming out, which is going to unlock new opportunities to track your own performance and drive yourself to become more fit, more healthy, and also have more fun during the workout. So all of those kinds of opportunities are right in front of us.
Even thinking about when the merger was announced, like the Orangetheory opportunity globally just made a ton of sense, especially given that, the Self Esteem had already done a lot of the work of international expansion. And now to your point, like, hey, let's just bring this to the locations. Even if we just look at where it already is established, Anytime Fitness, like there's obviously that opportunity to the different modalities. Certainly recovery is a huge one that's kind of trending right now. But even when you look at, like, zoom out a little bit from like a boutique fitness trend, if you will, like something like cycling, maybe in recent years has kind of feels like it's faded. It's certainly not where it was at the peak, maybe in the 2010s. When you look at like in Orangetheory, is there any risk, maybe not now, but in the future, hey, if things shift, how do we make sure that the interval training, the strength training, the recovery, the things that you're continuing to integrate into the experience evolve with consumers?
I love that question because I am passionate about the Orangetheory product itself. There have been fads that come along. You mentioned cycling, kind of the hardcore overtraining side was a fad for a while. There's a Pilates kind of peak going on right now. Orangetheory is a full body interval workout that encompasses rowing, running, or power walking. You don't have to run it in Orangetheory, and strength all at once. That is just being healthy. That is a science-backed development for a physical regime that kind of is like your multivitamin for the week. And so it's not one of those fads that's going to come and go working one part of the body or one specific modality. It is a full body health system. And so we haven't experienced kind of that fad overall. Now, that being said, we do run into things about the reputation or the perception of Orangetheory. Some people perceive it being more cardio, and so we have equal cardio and strength in the workout and power overall. And so we are doing things like we introduced a Strength 50 program at Orangetheory, where you're running through the strengths parts of it, and you can opt into it. We still have the great, true traditional Orangetheory where every workout is different every single day. But if you want to have one workout of a week, two Orangetheories and then one Strength 50, you have that opportunity within the Orangetheory membership.
Yeah, absolutely. That was, I think that was introduced maybe last year and right on time with interest in strength training, people focusing on building muscle, longevity, and health span. And so there's that kind of example of, hey, maybe we tweak the programming, maybe even the equipment versus saying either A, we're falling behind, or B, we have to develop or acquire an entirely different concept. Is that in the cards with, thinking about expanding the brands that are under the umbrella, or is it just evolving what already exists?
No, that's definitely in the cards. And so for 2025 in the near term, we definitely want to focus on the integration, and we want to make sure that each one of our brands is progressing on their own roadmap. All of our member-facing brands, they're going to stay independent. So Orangetheory is going to be Orangetheory. It's not going to incorporate parts of Anytime Fitness. But as we do go forward and into the moderate term, the opportunity to do additional acquisitions is definitely in front of us.
Yeah, even a couple of the things that, if you look at what's trending right now, we talked about recovery, you mentioned red light, but there's also just broader interest in holistic wellness, spas, social clubs, you improving people's lives. There's the kind of proactive and preventative health. Even some of the gyms and boutique studios starting to offer things like GLP-1s or maybe hormone replacement therapy, whether it's through acquisition or through, extensions, programming, or all those things already kind of, I'm sure they're on the roadmap, but how do you think about maybe if and how they fit in?
So yeah, we actually have relationships covering many of the things that you talked about. Like one thing you didn't mention was nutrition, for example. And so we have a sub business called Stronger You, and that business we are actually expanding. It has been focused on the Anytime Fitness membership, offering nutrition counseling through coaches to Anytime Fitness's members. But just starting in 2025, we also expanded that to be available to Orangetheory. And we're considering how best to roll that out, where we can give that kind of treatment and that kind of counseling to members. For the other ones, we do have relationships today with some other providers that cover some of those topics that you were talking about. And we can deepen the relationships there to make sure, like with GLP-1s, for example, when somebody is on that kind of a program, it's not just about weight loss through GLP-1s. There is an exercise and a strength element to it to make sure that you can sustain that weight loss. And so those kinds of partnerships are definitely in our very near term.
This episode of the Fitt Insider Podcast is brought to you by EGYM. EGYM makes some of the most innovative strength training machines on the market, but that's only one part of their integrated ecosystem. With connected fitness equipment, AI-powered gym software, and a comprehensive corporate wellness offering, it's forging the future of preventative health. Partnering with companies worldwide, EGYM's WellPass program improves employee health by expanding access to premier fitness and health facilities. Upgrading gym floors, EGYM equips every operator with smart equipment and AI tools to create hyper-personalized training plans for every exerciser. Putting it all together, they're transforming healthcare through exercise. Experience the power of EGYM's ecosystem at egym.com. And another one you mentioned was, especially from the Orangetheory side, is the technology, even having your own wearable, and then the personalization, evolving that, whether it's at Orangetheory or applying that to, other brands in the portfolio. Just how do you think, personalization, wearables, health data, like all those things obviously are top of mind for, health seekers and exercisers. What does the kind of future look like there?
I wear an Oura ring. I don't know about you, but when I go to Orangetheory and I do my workout and I look at my results in the Orangetheory app, next time I open my Oura app, it's automatically loading that information. And I use the Oura app to think about how I'm sleeping and how I'm exercising. And it's a valuable tool for me, something I care about. Whoop is out there trying to do the exact same kind of thing from a platform standpoint. The ability to relate to different kinds of technology, I already mentioned our partnership with Apple, is very important. So we provide that opportunity to the members to own their own health experience and navigate it. And there's a lot more investment opportunities that could be done there. I will highlight just one for interest's sake. We just completed our transformation challenge at Orangetheory. So that's an 8-week program where we challenge people to up their routine and go faster. And then we do 3 body scans during that program, at the start, in the middle, and at the end. And we're just now tallying that data. But I can tell you, we'll be able to report out on the thousands and thousands of pounds that we helped our members take off, and the thousands and thousands of pounds of muscle that we helped them build during this challenge. The ability to tie technology into this experience is exciting and rewarding on its own.
Yeah, I think it's really just broadly across the industry, even folks that are doing it incredibly well. Orangetheory was, from the start, kind of very technology and focusing on personalization. Still, to your point, like a huge opportunity and really untapped as it relates to tying that into other aspects of well-being, other technologies, and then really just that compounding over time.
Yeah, and also, there's a gamification point that's important to a lot of people. And so, with Orangetheory, you do your Orangetheory workout, but we have different benchmarks throughout the month. And so one coming up right now is the quarter mile run. And so you're trying to get your best time for that quarter mile. And it is recorded for you. And next time it comes up, you want to beat it. You have the same thing on the rower, which is, much more powerful, like, lower body power. There's a 2,000 meter row coming up. And I got to tell you, I personally am worried about that one for myself. I'm nervous about it, but it's because I am driven from the gamification to do better. And that helps me drive my own fitness journey.
Zooming out to just, if you think about what has happened with whether it's boutique fitness brands or even the kind of broader fitness platforms and operators, the merger kind of speaks to this larger trend towards, we've referred to them as like global supergroups. You kind of have to have this platform. You need to have maybe multiple modalities and brands under one roof. You have to have a global footprint. When you think about that development, and of course, then that brings in the private equity money and what that means for financing that growth, potentially the opportunity to go public. Like, how do you see purpose brands like fitting into this if you want to think of it as a competition or just as a landscape, like this shift towards house of brands, like multi-brand, multi-modality platforms?
Well, it's honestly easy to get big through acquiring brands and putting them together. That's not hard to do. You need money, like you said, but the hard part is turning that into a benefit for your franchisees and your members. And that's really the way we see the challenge is how can we benefit, again, franchisees and members? From franchisees, that means leveraging your scale to provide them better tools, better systems, better data, better ability to share best practices across potentially the different brands. And so just buying them and putting them together does not do that. And that is a different skill set, one that I think we have here at Purpose Brands that we're going to be leveraging more and more, especially as we're doing our current investments in technology. From a member standpoint, you hit on some of them. I mean, if you want to be able to do a studio brand, if you want to be able to focus on cardio one day and strength the next day, I don't know if you've ever done a bar class, but they are extraordinarily difficult. We have bar method as one of ours. And I can tell you that I have worked in bar method to be part of my routine because I know going to Orangetheory and going to Anytime Fitness, bar method is different. And so as we can offer that to members, that kind of family of experience, but again, you can't just do it by buying these companies. You have to have some kind of programmatic way to help the members understand. That's powerful. And so again, it's not just being big, it's leveraging scale for the benefit of the franchisee and the member.
And then the other piece of that is continuing to finance that growth. Obviously, this is a huge kind of private equity deal bringing this together. Whether that then becomes, hey, does this get kind of sold in a different, I know it's early at this point, right? The merger just happened a year ago, but is the path to continue to go down this route of private equity? Is it to move into the public market? Is it just being opportunistic and see how things kind of play out as time continues to go on?
Well, one flag, we are still majority owned by our founders. And so they still have a majority of the business. And Rourke is a very important, as our private equity sponsor, a very important investor. But, it is still majority founder led. And I think that that's actually exciting because it, talks about that spark of entrepreneurship that built all of these businesses. And I want to make sure that we continue to have that as we roll out products and services. As we do go forward, there are a lot of potential exits. I personally am not distracted by them because, again, if we take care of the members, the rest of the business pretty much takes care of itself.
One of the things that, I personally, it's selfishly am interested in is you walk in there on day one, you have two companies that are coming together. You have, all the thousands of franchisees and employees and everything else. Where does that even begin? Is that an all hands meeting? Is that a email that you send out kind of say introducing yourself? Like how do you begin to ingrain yourself in this company and culture in a way that, you can have the impact that you aspire to have?
So we had town halls. So in person, I got up in front of both businesses, in our Minnesota campus, because we have two headquarters, and then in our Florida campus. And I told them my story. I told them who I am, why I was excited to be here. I will share with you that Self Esteem Brands, Anytime Fitness, has a history of making, I'm going to say making people. And Chuck Runyon and Dave Mortensen, the founders, told me that I had to basically do a stupid human trick on my first day, that was part of what we do. And so, yes, I was juggling in front of my 350 newest friends, the team members at Self Esteem Brands. But you have to get out there and you have to tell people who you are and tell people what you hope to do. And what I hoped to do in my first 30, 60, 90 days was learn from them. Again, I was coming from outside the industry. I know I have a lot to learn. I think I have a lot of experiences that are relevant, but I wanted to learn the industry, learn the culture. And the team members were wildly accommodating to help me do that as I ramped up.
And then what has been the biggest, if you want to think of it as adjustment or challenge, when you think about then continuing to communicate and instill, your imprint, right? While maintaining, you said that, hey, look, both of these cultures were already so strong. And a lot of it was you finding your way in that, but it's also, hey, how do I leave my imprint and make sure that I'm continuing to communicate with people effectively and articulate what it is that I'm trying to do with this business? What has that been like as you've hit these kind of benchmarks?
It's been great, mostly because I have a fantastic leadership team. So when we came in, I had one open spot, and that was the brand leader for Orangetheory. Other than that, I had a fully formed team that the founders put together for me before I even joined. And the team has been great in giving me feedback, keeping me knowledgeable of our culture, and when I'm doing things that align to the culture, when I start to challenge things in the culture. And that doesn't mean that it's bad, but I can be cognizant of what I'm doing when I'm close to the line, and giving me that feedback all along the way. And so, yes, at some points they have said, hey, you should be aware that you're challenging this or challenging that. And then I can have that conversation with my team on, okay, well, is this good, or is this going to make us better? Is it going to be stronger? Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no. But by having that transparent communication with people that have been in the industry and in the business for so long, it's been very much of a blessing.
And then the last kind of question from the maybe leadership and culture side, how do you divide your time, or even think about how to prioritize that time across brands, initiatives, what's happening kind of working in the business, what's happening working on what's next and looking forward? How does that break out? How do you think about it?
I'll kind of go physically and then from a time standpoint. Physically, I have been very focused on making sure that I split my time pretty equally between Minneapolis and Boca. As I got more and more up to speed, I then started introducing more field trips where I'm going out, meeting with franchisees, seeing the actual locations, and learning from the people that are in that front line. And that's a very important part of my job, because they're the ones who are actually driving the business, serving the members, as people directly supporting the members in the locations. And so those 3 points have really made up how I think about spending my time. From a priority standpoint, integration is a priority right now. And I have had some good experience in integration in my past. And so I am personally involved in many, many aspects of that. That's where I'm driving. Because of the strength of the brand leaders and the functional leaders we have, is allowing me to hit that one point that really goes across the businesses and across the functions.
Some of the things that are in place now, whether that's the challenges, the new kind of wearable coming from Orangetheory, are there anything that are, whether you think of it as like launches or announcements or things that we should look out for that you're particularly excited about, maybe in the coming months or the next part of the year?
Well, you hit on a lot of them. And the way that I would say it really is that we are right now at this point of heavy investment to provide better services and tools to the franchisees. And then you also hit that point on how much white space we still do have in the world and domestically here in the States. And for people considering a franchise location, I can tell you that there is not a better time to join any one of the consumer facing brands that we have here at Purpose Brands.
Yeah, I guess. And then as we wrap up, whether it is people that are looking to become franchisees or members that are potential members that are looking to come out and look for a place to work out, where would you direct them?
So the brands have their own individual websites at this point. We will be launching with that platform, the Purpose Brands website, which will facilitate more of that across the brands. But for right now, Anytime Fitness, Orangetheory, Waxing the City, Basecamp Fitness, and the Bar Method.
Yeah, you got to keep them all locked in and make sure you're hitting all the points. We will have all of the various websites, socials, everything linked up in the show notes, and super excited to share the conversation. Appreciate you spending some time with us today.
I can't thank you enough. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you got value from the conversation, please consider subscribing and sharing the podcast with a friend or colleague. It's a massive help. And if you want more content like this, including news and insights on the latest industry developments, subscribe to the Fitt Insider newsletter at insider.fit.co. And one more thing, you can learn more about our recruiting and consulting services at fit.co. That's FITT.co. I'll see you here next week.